If the narcissist can use the holiday season to have access to a whole lot of narcissistic supply, then they can be high, happy and charming. However, what's more likely is the narcissist totally destroying Christmas for everyone else, because they cannot stand an entire day that's not all about them. Let's look into what's behind narcissistic behavior at Christmas time, and what kind of tactics you can expect throughout the holiday season. 1. They'll be completely extravagant. Some narcissists gain a significant amount of attention at Christmas time by throwing the most superior Christmas event. Being the highly competitive creatures that they are, they aim to put on the biggest, fanciest, most happening party of the year. Since appearances are everything in the world of a narcissist, they need to make sure that others see their party as being the best. After all, what's the point in putting in all that effort if no one congratulates them and admires them for it? It's all about the energy that gets funneled towards them via attention. That's what makes them feel extremely significant, important and above all others. 2. They'll boycott the planning. On a smaller scale, you may be dealing with a narcissistic family member who actively overtakes all of the planning for the family Christmas. They won't compromise towards what the other family members want, and will completely control everything, right from the food and location, to the start time. Rather than asking what is going to work for others, they'll demand who goes where and how the day plays out. This is particularly the case for altruistic narcissists, who get their supply from doing things for others, but with the full expectation that they receive glowing accolades in return. Everything they do is for the trophy and public recognition. It's never out of the kindness of their heart, or for the other people involved. 3. They'll monopolize your time. Narcissists don't care that most people have multiple families to fit into one single day at Christmas. In their world, they are the most important ones, therefore you should be prioritizing them on that day. This can especially be the case with a narcissistic parent. They'll often guilt-trip their kids with their matriarch or patriarch role, so that the children feel obliged to meet their parents' needs, regardless of what their own needs are. Since narcissists don't have a conscience, they really couldn't care less about how their selfishness affects you, and all of your other relationships. They want what they want, so don't you dare withhold that from them. 4. They'll spend the day bragging. If there's one pastime a narcissist loves, it's talking about themselves, for hours on end, without taking a breath. Some narcissists will use Christmas Day as an annual mark of self-promotion. This is where they get to brag to all of their family about what a fantastic year they've had. They'll embellish, or completely fabricate, a storybook full of successes and achievements. You know, just to reiterate that they are the most special and prosperous member of the entire family line. They'll tell you about the cruise they took through the tropics, the advancements they made at work, and how they're now sitting on an impressive 6-figure income. If they've rubbed shoulders, whether real or fictional, with anyone influential, you'll be sure to hear about it. As long as they get to spend Christmas Day feeling admired, they'll have the benefit of getting high on their favorite drug, narcissistic supply. Even if no one at the Christmas party is actually admiring them, as long as they think that people are envious of them, that's all that matters when it comes to feeding the ego. 5. They'll do absolutely nothing. Narcissists never do anything unless there's something in it for them. You can bet your bottom dollar that unless the narcissist is going to gain applause for preparing a beautiful meal, personally gift wrapping the presents or being an excellent host, you might as well expect nothing from them. Don't be surprised to find them spending the day kicking back, ordering others around, but not actually putting in any effort themselves. If you're parenting alongside a narcissist, I'm sure you're well adapted to organizing all of the gifts, food, decorations, and other particulars for the festivities. Yet the narcissist will be more than happy to claim the credit for all of your hard work. 6. They'll show up late or not at all. Narcissists love making a grand entrance and being the center of attention as they blast through the door. You can fully anticipate the narcissist to show up late to the Christmas party, then expect everyone to fawn over them. They aim to reinforce the grand illusion that they're a busy and highly sought-after individual, who was gracious enough to grant you with a slice of their time. On the contrary, the narcissist may decide to not show up to Christmas at all, even if they did RSVP. They will entirely expect people to chase after them with calls and messages, even though they'll probably be rude and fob them off. Being chased makes them feel extremely important, validated and significant. 7. They'll give insincere gifts. The only reason a narcissist is going to get excited about buying gifts for others is if they can somehow extract supply from the whole situation. They don't want to spend money on others, and they certainly don't want to waste their time looking for meaningful presents that will bring joy. If a narcissist has put some effort into buying gifts, it's because they expect something in return. Some things a narcissist seeks to gain from gift-giving include adoration, envy, indebtedness, manipulation, and upholding a successful image. On the flip side, narcissists are just as likely to not give any gifts at all, or give completely thoughtless items, which may as well go straight to the trash or charity bin. 8. They'll refuse to participate. Sometimes a narcissist will straight up refuse to participate in Christmas altogether. The idea of having a happy celebration, where the focus won't be on the narcissist for an entire day, is utter torment to them. Maybe Christmas is all set to be at your family's house this year. If they don't like your family, or they know that your family don't particularly like them, they'll flat out refuse to go. They don't care how much pain this inflicts upon you, and how torn you are between seeing your family and trying to keep them happy. In fact, all of the inner turmoil they create by putting a wedge between you and your family makes them feel all the more powerful and significant. In addition to that, it serves to further isolate you from your loved ones. This works to deepen their place in your world as being the most important person. 9. They'll get blind rotten drunk. What better way to tap out of having to show up for anyone but themselves than by getting rolling drunk? This keeps them firmly in the spotlight, by making damn sure that no one can forget their presence in the room. To a narcissist, any attention is good attention, positive or negative, they care not. Narcissists can be obnoxious when they're drinking, as it tends to overinflate their false sense of confidence, while reducing their inhibitions. In other words, they'll feel even more entitled to say and do whatever they feel like, with zero regard to how that may affect those around them. If anyone tries to pull them up on their behavior, they'll claim, "Oh, that was just the booze, don't take it personally." As per usual, they will avoid all accountability for their actions, and if anyone takes offense to that, it's everyone else's fault, not theirs. 10. They'll abandon or discard. There are so many ways a narcissist can abandon, or completely discard the people in their life at Christmas. They may take off for days on end, so that they can bounce from one festive party to the next. They'll feel so important at having such a full calendar of events to attend, that you become even more irrelevant to them than you were throughout the year. The narcissist will have no qualms about you staying at home by yourself, holding the fort and tending to the kids or household, while they're off living the high life. Another way that narcissists like to free themselves up for the holiday season, and not have to be accountable for their behavior, is to break up with their partner at the 11th hour. They will literally discard their partner right before Christmas, so that they don't have to buy gifts, do the family thing, or partake in a day that is not all about them. They may have another easy supply on the side, ready to go. Or, they may go off and be a free entity during the holidays, then come back around to hoover their ex afterwards. They will offer false apologies, fake future plans, and restart the love bombing process, to get them back into their cycle of abuse. 11. They'll create an argument. As another excuse to completely get out of Christmas, narcissists will often create an argument out of thin air. One tactic is to use the argument as a way of not having to give you anything. Whether it be time, attention, affection, gifts, help with the food and preparations, and so on. Instead, they'll use the argument as just cause for dishing out the silent treatment to punish you. Because in the narcissist's warped reality, it's all your fault that they're feeling so crappy about not having the ability to genuinely feel joy. Another tactic is to use the argument as a way of riling you up, so that you're extremely emotionally charged, which hands them a significant amount of narcissistic supply. Plus, as you head on out into Christmas Day, you will be so focused on the argument, that they effectively get to monopolize your headspace for the entire day. Don't be surprised to see a narcissist start a fight with someone else during the Christmas celebrations. Whether someone says something that triggers a narcissistic injury, or they fly into a rage because they cannot handle the lack of attention and supply they're getting. 12. They'll intentionally disappoint. It's not uncommon for narcissists to make promises for the holiday period, yet not actually have any intention of holding true to their word. This is called future faking. They may promise to go with you to visit your family, only to have to work at the last minute or fall ill. Maybe they build you up with some amazing holiday plans, or promise that they'll get you a particular item you've been wanting so much. But when the time comes, they'll either forget that they promised you, or gaslight you with a denial that the conversation ever happened. Or, something will conveniently pop up, rendering them broke and unable to follow through with their plans. 13. They'll be a victim. If the narcissist does show up on Christmas Day, they may spend the whole time playing a victim role, purely so they can garner sympathy and remain a central focus. They may feign or play up an illness or injury, making them unable to help, and putting the obligation on others to wait on them hand and foot. Or, they may use a bad memory or experience as an excuse to wallow in sadness. Anything they can embellish or concoct, to play on other people's empathy and compassion, will do the job just fine. 14. They'll be moody and contemptuous. We've all known that person, who spends every party sitting in the corner with a scowl on their face. They'll spend the entire time complaining about the weather, the food, the location, the other guests, the dog, and everything in between. You wonder why they even bother going at all. This behavior is very typical of some narcissists who do attend the Christmas gathering, but resent everyone around them for the very fact that they're even there. Being in the presence of a moody and contemptuous narcissist can really bring the vibe of the whole party 10 notches down. They wish nothing more than to lower everyone down to their miserable frequency, because they lack the empathy required to allow others to feel joy when they cannot. The trick is to leave them to their sullenness, and go and enjoy yourself in spite of their dark energy. It's their burden to carry and should not be the responsibility of anyone else. Lastly, 15. They may use Christmas to hoover you. If you've extracted yourself from the narcissist and have limited or no contact with them, they are extremely likely to use Christmas as an excuse to hoover you back into their abuse cycle. Beware, it's not because they love you or miss you. It's purely because they want more access to your life force energy and nothing more. Holidays and events are the perfect time for them to send a seemingly innocent message, whereby they will tap into your kindness and empathy. The whole idea is that they want you to break no contact and engage in conversation with them again. Once they've got you talking, they can weasel back into your life and manipulate you into handing over more supply. They may even be aiming to get you caught up in confusing word salads, where you feel the need to defend yourself against their outrageous accusations. Either way, when you're hooked into conversation with them, they'll be using you to extract life force energy. Don't fall for it. Focus on making your day joyful, and sharing it with those who are authentically loving and supportive. If the narcissist chooses to wallow in self-pity, or act like an overgrown toddler, that's on them. Your only obligation is to yourself, not the narcissist. For more on narcissism, head to unmaskingthenarc.com.